Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Monday so far. We are kicking butt this Monday, continuously hitting our goals, setting ourselves up for success, becoming the best versions of ourselves, and of course doing it together. While we're at it though, you already know we're sprinkling a little bit of this and avalanches of prosperity and abundance. And today what we're going to be talking about might just change the game for you a little bit. So let's get into it. So let's go ahead and talk about vision and why it's important to have a vision for where you're going. Some examples of people who have used vision to get things that they want, and then ultimately how it's going to help you in getting where you want to go. So let's get into the why. Why is it important that you have a vision? And this is a two-part answer. So we're going to come at this from a couple different ways. We're going to come at this from a subconscious aspect, but we're also going to come at it from a physiology and a action type standpoint. So first and foremost, let's get into the subconscious and the reason why it's important to have a vision. So what's ultimately happening when you create this vision of where you want to go, and again, when it comes to success, you define success. So maybe that success is you want to be the ideal weight, you want to build, X muscle, whatever. You want to build a business, you want to create financial independence for yourself, you want to have that dream job. You decide what that success looks like for you, but you want to paint a picture of what that success will look like. And here's the reason why from a subconscious level. When you have a vision for where you want to go, where you ultimately want to go, what you're doing is you're giving your subconscious mind and your brain something to work on. If you aren't focused on what it is that you want and having a vision for where you want to go, your mind is just going to consistently focus on the everyday routine that's been occurring since your birth. So you're not giving your mind anything to work on. You're not allowing it to be creative. You're not allowing it to ideally work with you, right? So what ends up happening is when you have a vision, what you're doing is you're giving your brain a goal to work on. And you're allowing it to use its own devices in order to get you the ideas, the business plan. You start putting things into motion. People start coming into your life because rather than your brain going, well, this is what we've been doing forever and this is what we're going to continue to do, what you're now doing is you're telling your brain, hey, I know where we're at right now, but this is where I want to go. And I need to think of ways to get there right now. I need to start coming up with action steps. I need to know what that next logical step is. And essentially what's happening is now your brain is going to work to come up from a creative standpoint, to come up with ways to help you get that thing that you're ultimately focused on. So then what you'll start to notice is that ideas that you've never had before start coming in. You start realizing what your next logical step is. You start getting people into your life that are ultimately helping you go in the direction of your dreams. You start creating situations, circumstances, events, and ultimately people that are going to help get you closer to that ultimate goal that you have. Now, I want to break this down too a little bit because there's a certain spot that you want to get to when you put your mind to work, because whatever you focus on, your brain is ultimately going to start working toward and coming up with an action plan or some sort of idea for you to help, again, take those next necessary steps to move forward. But you want to create a vision in your subconscious mind that meets two criteria. That first criteria is it's something that gets you excited when you think about it. So the example I'll give you is, let's go ahead and use an ideal weight that you want to get to. Maybe you're 300 pounds and eventually you want to get to 200 pounds. Well, thinking about that jump from 300 to 200 is like, well, that's way too much for me. I don't even believe I'm going to get it, nor am I even excited about it because, like, yeah, it would be cool if I got it, but I don't believe I'm going to get there because you're not used to losing weight. Well, that's your long-term goal. What you want to find out is what the next logical vision step is for you. So maybe you can believe and get excited about, well, hey, I'm 300 pounds now. I would be really excited if I can get to 290 pounds, and I believe I can do it. That's the vision you want to set up in your mind, because what's going to happen is now you've created a vision that's in what's called the sweet spot. The sweet spot being, I am excited that I can create this, but number two, I believe I can do it too, because when you set up those two things, you set up excitement, your brain is working with your vibration in your body to go, okay, we're going to draw this thing in even faster. But then number two, you believe you can achieve it too. So then that makes the action steps and taking the next logical step even easier for you. So that's a huge thing that you want to understand when it comes to the vision is when you're setting up a vision for yourself, make sure it's in the sweet spot, something that you get excited about when you set it up, but then number two, something that you also believe you can achieve. Now, the next reason why is because of your physiology and your DNA structure. So the reason why you want to have a vision is because this vision is going to power you through these trying times and ultimately these quote-unquote struggles and failures and things like that you're going to go through, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they won't have a vision for where they ultimately want to go, and because of that, they'll start to take action on their goals, and they'll start to reach some trying times, and ultimately they forgot the reason why they started going after whatever it is that they wanted to have. And so the vision is going to tie into the why, because when you see where you're going, you'll start to understand, wow, I'm really excited about getting here, and here's why I'm excited about getting here. So now you start to create a why for yourself. Why am I doing this? And this why is ultimately going to be something that when the going gets tough, you can dig deep and go, oh yeah, this is the reason why I'm going after what I'm going after, because I'm going after something that's way bigger than myself, because this is ultimately where I want to go. And so now working with your physiology, when again these trying times start to come up, and ultimately that little voice in the back of your head that's telling you, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not blah, 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 all these lies and fictitious things that we tell ourselves that ultimately are not guiding us in the right direction. When those things start to come up, you can flip the script and go, well, here's the reason why I'm doing it, so brain, shut up, because we're going to get there, right? And it causes you to break through these fear barriers that you have, these learning lessons that you go through, and ultimately this roller coaster to where you eventually want to go, because nothing that you want is going to be easy to attain, because you have habits that you've built up. You have a way of thinking that you've built up. You are the reason you are because of all of these things that have happened to you. And so in order for you to get where you want to go, you have to do new things. And by doing new things, you're going to be met with some setbacks. And during these setbacks, all you're really doing is building character, and you're becoming a bigger, better person. But you're going to have to understand that when you're going through these rings of fire, these hoops of fire, if you will, you're going to want to keep a vision for where you're going in your mind, because in doing that, as these trying times start to come up, you break these barriers down and you ultimately continue to push forward, because you know eventually I'm going to get there, because not only is my DNA structure, my body and my actions working with me, but the universe is working with me, my subconscious mind is working with me, my DNA structure is working with me, and my vibration of energy is working with me. So now you start to live this fearless life where you know, hey, I know where I'm going. It's up to me to just take the action steps to move forward. Regardless of what's happening, I'm going to keep moving, because eventually I'm going to get there. Now let's talk about some successful people who have used their vision to create what they want. And this is going to be a great example, because this is very unique, and it's something that you wouldn't expect to happen, and most people would call it a coincidence. But when you understand the power of your subconscious mind, and you understand that you can control your brain to go in any direction you want, it'll make total sense. So one of the biggest examples I can give you is actually in the movie The Secret. If you haven't watched The Secret, I can't speak enough about it. It was a life-changing movie for myself, but it's a movie that's based on law of attraction and using your mind to create whatever you want. And there was a person on there by the name of John Azaroff, highly successful entrepreneur. But what he was talking about was when he stumbled upon the idea of law of attraction, he started doing dream boards. And in his dream boards, he would put pictures of houses, cars, things that he wanted, and he would look at this dream board on a pretty consistent basis. Well, he made multiple dream boards, and what ended up happening was he had a picture of a house that he actually wanted on his dream board. Now, over time, as he updated his dream board, he would buy new ones, and the old ones he would put away in storage. And what ended up happening was years after he had put away one of the dream boards that he was actually had looked at for quite a while and was focused on a new one, he moved into a new house. And as he was unpacking his boxes, he started unpacking his dream boards. And one of the first dream boards he ever started with had a picture of the house that he had actually moved into. And it was interesting telling his story because he mentioned that when he set this dream board up, his visions were small overall compared to what he's able to create now. But he said that it was interesting because he had put that dream board away years and years and years ago and hadn't even looked at it. And when his son opened up the box and pulled out the dream board and he saw the picture of the exact house that him and his family had moved into, it brought tears to his eyes because for him it was a realization that his mind really is working with him at all times to create the life that he ultimately wants. And so I thought that that was a fantastic example because there's all sorts of other examples like that as well. And another one that I'll give you is, this is actually one that's going around fairly recently. This was written about in an online article, but also this artist had put it in one of his songs as well. And the song is, I believe it's, I'll have to find out what song it is exactly, but it was by Drake on one of his new albums. And one of the lines he uses is, he says, "Back when my home screen was the house I'm living in currently," or something along these lines. And it's actually interesting because he elicits to this in an article about a year prior, 6 months to a year prior from when the song actually came out. And what he said is that in this article, I had a picture of the house that I'm living in right now that was my home screen on my computer from 10 to 15 years ago. So he used his backgrounds on his phone and his computer to have a picture and a vision for where he was going. And now think about this. Now put all these pieces of the puzzle together. These successful people have a vision for where they want to go, and they'll consistently look at that and put it as a reminder in front of them. So as they're going through these hoops of fire, they're understanding, here's the reason why I'm doing this. This is what I want, and I'll stop at nothing. And ideally what that allows the brain to set itself in a way to go, this is what we're going after, and now it starts to use its creativity and its power to ultimately help you get wherever you want to go. And ultimately, again, you're using the powers in your DNA structure as well as in the universe to help you get more of what you want, and then ultimately lead you in the right direction toward getting that vision itself. Now the how. Building a vision is something that can be a little bit difficult. So as I elicited to earlier in this video, you understand the reason why we have a vision for where we want to go, but how do you do this? It's going to be two different ways. Number one is daydreaming. If you can't picture where you want to go right now, that's okay. Just get a general idea and use your imagination, and throughout the day, paint the picture of where you want to go, the house you want to live in, the body that you want to see for yourself, the amount of money that you want to see in your bank account, because eventually, maybe you can't see it now, but as you start to paint this picture, it's going to become more and more clear for you until eventually you'll close your eyes and you'll go, oh my God, everything is real. There's no difference from the real world to what I'm looking at now. And now you're starting to make this vision for yourself feel more real, which by using the law of attraction will come in faster. But the other how you create a vision for yourself is do a dream board. And I've talked about dream boards on previous videos. You want to put this thing that you want in front of you as much as you possibly can, because in doing it, again, what you're doing is reminding yourself about why you're pushing every single day. But also by keeping it at the forefront of your mind, you're creating more focus on it, which is creating a higher vibration frequency to pull it into you quicker. But also what you're doing is you are constantly focused on this thing, which is ultimately going to allow your brain to work for you and create plans. It's going to help you be more creative with your vision and ultimately just make things easier when it comes to manifesting that success that you're looking to create. So visualization is huge. I know we've talked about it in other videos, but I just wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it, because when you understand this, it makes the attainment of your dreams a little bit easier, because now you're starting to work with not only your actions, but you're starting to work with your mind to ultimately get you where you want to go faster. So thankful for the views that you guys consistently put in on this video and the work that you're doing to help ultimately spread this idea of creating the life that you want. Of course, if you haven't subscribed at this point, hit the subscribe button. It's right there. It's beautiful in all of its glory. Definitely like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and share this with people that need to hear this message. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. You already know.